Everyone, welcome back to our second show on Islam and Maths in English. And today's stream is a very sensitive subject where we're going to be talking about the origin of the legal act of taking and capturing women and treating them as sex slaves at the war. So, again, I'm going to try to explain to you that we are a group of native Arabic speaking ex-Muslims, and we started this page to speak about the problems that we are here right now going through in Western countries, and why the try to explain for Westerners the difference between these cultures background for people, and why some Muslims accept this kind of acts and cheer it up. And so I'm gonna leave you with Sam so he can try to explain more about the verses that legalize this action. Uh, Please remember to like and share and subscribe and follow us so the future. So you can start, Sam.
Okay, thank you, Adam. Hello, everyone. Just to start, we are broadcasting on YouTube, on our channel on YouTube and the Facebook. What I'm doing here, I'm actually putting, I will put it as a comment, which is the login through the StreamYard. So if you bear with me for a second, I hope this will bring it on the Facebook, and I'll just make sure. So you don't need to log in. You don't need a login. I mean, you just need to click on the StreamYard, and you can enter. You can actually join us from your mobile or from the computer if you are at the computer. If you have any question, feel free to ask on the YouTube or on the Facebook. We'll try to read your comments. All right, to start with, I would like to start with the our slideshow. In this slideshow, we made this slideshow because we can't share anything from YouTube or any websites because of the copyrights. So the very first things I would like to mention is actually a documentary named Sabaya. Sabaya in Arabic is the plural of Sabiya, which is one. So Sabaya are sex slaves. So if you Google it, you can try to watch the documentary online. This will explain especially about ISIS, because ISIS or the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria uh, was the last organization to practice that in the 21st century, unfortunately. So they attacked the Yazidi. The Yazidis were considered pagan by the Muslims, and they captured their women and they sold them just like, sex slave market, just like what you see in Spartacus, exactly what you see in Spartacus. And they used them, they abused them, they've been raped hundreds of times, so, and I myself heard personal stories face to face. However, so let's go to the most important part of the subject. In Quran, in Surah An-Nisa, which is the section number 4 in Quran, the verse number 24, what does it say? وَالْمُحْصَنَاتُ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ إِلَّا مَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُكُمْ. So the married women, but or besides the ones you possess in your right hand. So the verse before this verse was telling the Muslims whom they can have sex with and whom they cannot have. So it was telling the Muslims that you cannot have sex with your daughter, with your mother, with your sister, blah, blah, blah. And this came next, and the married women. So you cannot have sex with a married woman unless you possess her in your right hand. So what is the position in the right hand? So that's the question. Position to possess a woman in your right hand, it means you capture her in the war. So in wartime, if Muslims attacks any other community and they capture women, so they take them as sex slaves. So going to the origin of this verse, I'm not sure if you know or uh, if you maybe you have to know that every verse in Quran had a reason. If you really want to understand what it means and why it is there, you need to understand the reason why it came. So what does it say here? The explanation, as explained by Ibn Kathir, maybe Ibn Kathir is the most popular, let's say, the most popular explainer of Quran. So what does it say here? So he's explaining. It says that it's haram, so it's forbidden, not allowed by God, that you have sex with the foreigners, the married foreigners, unless you possess by capturing. Sabi is capturing, the captivity in war. So you can have sex with them if you make sure that they are not pregnant, which means you have to wait till the woman gets her period and then you can have sex with it. Unfortunately, the word used, al-wata, means al-wata here, as we can, this word, wutu'uhunna, means have sex with them, but the word actually is used for animals. So that's language is being used till now. So when they talk about having sex with a woman, they use this word. And this word also means that you step on something. So this is how women are treated when it comes to have sex with them. So the remaining of the story is even, more interesting. So it says here that Imam Ahmad said that from Abdul Razak, told by Sufyan, blah, blah, blah. Then here he says that we got women from the tribe of Autas. Autas was a Jew tribe. وَلَهُنَّ أَزْوَاجٌ. And they had husbands. فَكَرِهْنَا أَن نَقَعَ عَلَيْهُنَّ وَلَهُنَّ أَزْوَاجٌ. So we didn't like to have sex with them while we knew their husbands. So we asked the Prophet, so he got us this verse, وَالْمُحْصَنَاتُ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ إِلَّا مَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُكُمْ فَاسْتَحْلَلْنَا فُرُوجَهُنَّ. So their vulvas, فُرُوجَهُنَّ means the external genitalia. So their external genitalia became halal. In Islam, there is halal and haram. Haram, they cannot use. Halal is okay. So this is another example of dealing with women as they are just a sex machine. So here they are talking about women using the word farj or external genitalia in reference to women. So what does this verse or what does this explanation tell us? That at that time, people would not have sex with a woman if they knew she was married. So that was the rule. That was the moral. at that time that if you catch a woman, you can take her as sex slaves, but only if she's not married. While after this point, it was allowed because Muhammad, the Prophet, allowed it. So this gives you an idea about the change in morals, in the war morals before and after Islam. Just an example. So if we carry on, I have here an important question. Has Prophet Muhammad had sex with sex slaves? The answer is unfortunately yes. And the verse in Surah Al-Ahzab, number 50, which is the section number 33, the verse number 50. What does it say? The verse is long. I took only the first part of it. Ya ayyuhan nabiyyu, O you prophet, inna ahlalna laka azwajaka. We, which means God is talking, we made it halal, or we allowed you to have sex with your wives. Allati atayta ujurahunna. Those whom you paid them their money. So of course, that's another complex subject. We can talk about it later because marriage in Islam is a contract for sex. It's not about love, not about relation, not about life. No, it's a contract of sexual intercourse. عقد nikah. So God he is telling the Prophet that we made it halal, that you have sex with your wives whom you had paid them money or ujurahna, actually salary or something like, or fees. وَمَا مَلَكَتْ يَمِينُكَ, and what you have possessed in your right hand. مِمَّا أَفَاءَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْكَ, that of what God gifted you. So this verse is giving the permission to the Prophet to have sex with all his wives. At some stage, they were 11 in one go. And what he possessed in his right hand of what God gifted him. So that's very obviously talking about the fact that Muhammad himself was having sex with his slaves. Now, do we have more supportive stuff about it? This is the second question. Has the Prophet Muhammad captured women himself and used them as sex slaves? The answer again is yes. So this is not Quran, this is Hadith, which means the speech. So from Al-Bukhari, the section of the virtue of releasing the sex slaves and getting married to her. And that's the Hadith or the speech number 1365, if someone wants to go and have a look. So what does it say here? It says that in year 7 of migration, when Muhammad migrated from Mecca to Al-Madinah, in year 7, the Muslims attacked Khaybar. Khaybar was a well-known tribe, and they had a good, it looks like they had a fortress. And the Muslims managed to break in and win the attack. But they attacked them, and they captured slaves. So Safiya ibnatu Huyay, that's the name of the slave. So she was Safiya ibnatu Huyay ibn Akhtar. So one of his friends, Dihya al-Kalbi, said, Prophet, I want slave. I want a sex slave from those captured. He said, okay, take one of them. So he took Safiya. Another man came to the Prophet and told him, you Prophet, you gave Dihya, Safiya ibn Huyay, and she's a very high position woman. She's, she's one of the princesses there. You should take her. So here he called Dihya and uh, told them take someone else. So then the Prophet took her and got married to her. So the story, of course, is mentioned in more than one location. I did some researches because the way it was done is very important. So what does it say here? That actually, when Dihya al-Kalbi gave her back to Muhammad, he exchanged her with 7 people. Here it says the Prophet bought her for 7 heads. So imagine they are talking about slaves as heads, just like if you are talking about sheep or cows. So it says here that he traded her. The Prophet Muhammad traded Safiyyah ibn Huyay with 7 people. So imagine how beautiful she was and how precious she was. So he gave Yatihya al-Kalbi 7 people and pushed her or gave her to Salim, which is a name, a woman, to fix her and make her ready. So he actually slept with her in the same night. He killed her husband and her family. He killed her father, her husband, and her cousin at the front of her. And she was taken as a slave. And then he traded her with 7 people to took her for himself. And then he took her to his tent all night. He had sex with her. And in the morning, he said, well, she converted to Islam and she's now my wife. So just imagine the situation that a woman who has just seen her family killed at the front of her, she got married to him from nowhere. She accepted to be his wife. And of course, the Islamic history talks about lots of stories about it. One of them that he actually stopped the whole army. He stopped the whole army and he just to have a party. And actually, he had a party and they made a wedding. So he married her. He didn't wait till he reached home. No, he stopped in the middle of the way back, and he actually had sex with her on that night. So that's actually the evidence we bring to support our idea, our claim, if you like to say, that Quran itself actually allowed it, and it was practiced by the Prophet himself. So, okay, guys, is there any one of you wants to comment of what we were talking about, guys? Adam or Bibi? Are you still there, guys?
Oh yes, I'm here. I'm sorry, I was muted. Yeah, that's extremely interesting, as we know it, to see all this evidence of these practices, and it's really insane. And if you remember, when the king of the Coptics have offered Muhammad also what do you call it, Maria al-Qibtiyya, I
Maria
think her name was.
al-Qibtiyya. Yeah,
He
the
offered
Coptic
her,
Maria.
oh, the Coptic Maria. He took her as a slave. Just accepted
Not
that
only
man's
that,
gift.
not only that, he was having
Oh,
sex with her. He was having sex with her one day. He was having sex with her on one of his wives' bed while she was not then his wife, or she was not yet his wife. So he was having sex with her on,
Aisha's
if
bed.
I'm not wrong. No, not Aisha. Was
Oh,
no, the daughter of Umar ibn al-Khattab. Um, what was her name? I forgot. Uh, uh, no, definitely the daughter of Umar ibn al-Khattab, the daughter of
Hafsa, her
Hafsa.
name was.
Hafsa, yes, sorry, yes. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes. So she caught him. She caught him having sex with the slave on her bed. And she
yeah.
started shouting and threatening him
On
to
my she was saying.
tell everyone. And he was telling her, "Oh, please just calm down. Don't say that. Don't tell anyone." Finally, he actually brought another verse in Quran to justify it. Do you have an idea about it? I can get it for you if you like.
Yeah.
Um, Actually, I didn't. I didn't prepare it. Um, because what it says, yeah, tarda, uh,
There is
I
another one when Aisha tells him, "W- Why am I seeing your God only acts in favor of your desires all the time?"
Yeah, that's the remaining of the verse number, the verse which I mentioned here. Okay, I tell you what's the story of this one.
Mhm.
So this verse, okay, when it says, because the remaining of this verse, it says, وامرأة إذا وهبت نفسها للنبي. So if a woman gifted herself to the prophet, it's okay to have sex with her. So here, that's another. That's another story actually. Yeah, this is just hold on. This is Surah Al-Tahrim. So Surah Al-Tahrim. Yes, يا أيها النبي لما تحرم ما أحل الله لك تبتغي مرضات أزواجك والله غفور حكيم. It's number one in Surah Al-Tahrim. This one is number one in Surah Al-Tahrim. So here God is telling the Prophet, why are you making it haram? What God made it halal for you. So why are you not doing what the God allowed you to do just to satisfy or to make your wives happy? So God was actually blaming him that God, I made it halal for you to have sex with your sex slaves. So you must do it. You
As if
have
it
to
was
follow my wish against the wish of your wives. So here we,
we're seeing
so
God
here
really
we,
interested
mm,
in his sexual acts more than him. He doesn't want to, but God wants him to do that.
absolutely, that wasn't his fault. That wasn't his fault because God actually asked him to do it. So the poor man was just following the order of God. So yes, so that's actually the verse. I found it. It's Surah Al-Tahrim number one.
And actually, the
So
second verse that comes after it, he continued to affirm this when he says, قَدْ فَرَضَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ تَحِلَّةَ أَيْمَانِكُمْ, that God have ordered you
mm,
to use your the, the the slaves you own, I would say.
yeah,
تَحِلَّةَ أَيْمَانِكُم.
absolutely,
No? What
absolutely.
is halal for your owning, right owning.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So that's how it is, unfortunately, and still now they still apply it, and that's what ISIS did.
The Yazidi women, of course, there was like they acted
So
exactly as they were ordered, exactly how it was supposed to be
absolutely.
in their religion. And the
I
survivors have spoken a lot about this, the rapes that they
I
do, and
I actually I have seen many of them due to the fact that I was in some business with immigration where I live, and shocking stories. Many of them having schizophrenia, and they have nightmares. And one of them, only one was brave to tell details. So according to her, that the owner used to, of course, force her to make food for his friends, and after they have dinner, and enjoy sometimes, he tell them, okay, go have a shot. So they were going one by one. They were going by one and have sex with her. And she said, even when I was having my period, even when I was in pain, and of course, that was happening while the children were watching. So the children were realizing that those men are, going to the bedroom with their moms. So look, it's disgust. It's just unbelievable. In the 21st century, we had an organization like ISIS was taking sex slaves and selling them. And they even, if you Google some Al Hurra channel uh, reportings or reports, they found or they captured a document showing the price of the slaves depends on her age. So the older, the cheaper. So it's all about, young women. The younger the woman, the more money you make out of her.
And
Yeah, so it's very sad.
there's also a video of ISIS members where they were like, "Today it's gonna be the sex slave market," and
Yeah,
there
that's
was
the
this guy
most.
who was like, "I'm
Yeah,
buying them all. I'm gonna have these and one," and they
yeah,
recorded that
yeah.
and like,
The video is available online, yes, on YouTube. Yeah, if someone wants to Google it, that's the most famous. They say they were very happy saying that, yes, today we will have sex slave market, or yes, and they were, uh, encouraging each other to go and buy and things. Yes, business. So, well, that's what is the subject about, and I wonder if there is any more ideas to bring. Anything in your mind, Adam or BB?
didn't hear Bibi's voice today. Hi, Bibi.
Yeah.
Hello. No, I'm here. I'm still in shock because when I listen to this all the time, I became in shock, and um because of how many people still in this thing, and they call it religion of peace.
It
I
is the
don't.
religion of peace.
How could it be? And beside that, if you propose this thing to some individual Muslim, you always have to make him understand his religion because he doesn't understand it, because he's not into it. He just listen to the stories and from his parents and keep going. The only religion, the one religion, the religion of peace, and this.
I
So
actually
that's it.
saw a video. I actually saw a video of. I wish we could post it here, but unfortunately we can't. Like Sam mentioned, it was a Zakir Naik on a stage, and one of these spectacle Muslim guys, he came and he asked him, "I really wonder why did Islam not ban slavery? How could Muslims really have sex with women who they captured?" And the way he schemed and just twisted all the answers, he was like, oh, he ended up comparing. He was like, start saying, okay, in all wars, you would see armies taking slaves in Guantanamo Bay. They raped their prisoners, And if you compare Islam to Islamic Sharia to Guantanamo Bay's laws, Islam is very, very advanced morally. And he, he was literally comparing.
Yes,
Yeah.
straw man. Straw
Yeah, the
man.
oh,
He
man,
brought
yeah,
Guantanamo, yes, comparing, yes.
yeah.
So while here we are talking about a law which made by God and should be used by all people all time. The biggest problem I always, that's my argument, and I guess guys, you agree with me. We all came from Arabic background. It's our mother tongue.
Yeah.
And at least you need first to be educated enough so you can read Quran, and you need to have extra skills so you know where to find the explanation and how to understand it. So it's not enough just to speak Arabic. And
Of
it is believed now that if Arabs or Arabic speaking people, let's not say Arabs, I don't like to say it like that. So Arabic speaking people are nearly half billion. At least 50% of them nearly illiterates. So their level of education is not more than year 6 primary school. And they have no idea of whatsoever what they believe in. Plus, as you know, Quran is a very old language, full with grammar and dictation mistakes, which makes it very confusing and very hard to understand because of the grammar mistakes in it. It takes you right to left, left to right. You don't know even
That's why we have hundreds
even
of sects. Each one of them interpret on his
explanations.
own, and
Yes,
it's so many
and that's
different.
why that's why they are killing each other. Muslims are fighting all the way. They never agree on anything. So imagine with this Zakir Naik, imagine those non-originally Arabic speaking people. What do they know about Islam? If people like us needed to study and read hours and nights and days and months before we actually started understanding what we believed in. Imagine those people who cannot read it at all and they have no idea of whatsoever of what they believe in. What do you expect from them? That's the question.
Well, don't
I
forget
have
that.
no idea.
Don't forget that even if you think about this stuff, even if a person have a spectacle mind, we all had this experience when we started asking questions. Like, is it really good to have such thing? Then they strike you with that verse. Oh, you who believes, don't ask about things if it seems a little bit confusing. لا تسألوا عن أشياء إن تبدو لكم تسوءكم. In the Surah Al-Ma'idah, I think it was. So
Actually, allow me to correct you in one step here. ولا تسألوا عن أشياء إن تبدأ إن تبدأ لكم تسوءكم. تبدأ means if it is clarified for you, if it is explained to you.
Oh, yes, exactly.
So what the verse is telling Muslims, stay stupid. Don't ask questions. Just believe it as it is. And that's why when you ask questions, when you actually embarrass any sheikh or anyone who's defending Islam, they immediately tell you, look, if you ask too much, you're gonna become a disbeliever and God will punish you. So they
Yeah,
make you kafir.
that was one of the most usual ways that every time I asked a question when I was growing up, and I'll be like, why is this like,
Shut you up.
yeah, they
Yeah,
like, oh, when you grow up, you will understand, or oh, if you are a real believer, you would just believe in it. Just take it. It
exactly.
will
Just
appear in
shut
your
up.
heart. So they will turn it
Yeah,
into a problem into you. Then as a youngster who've been brainwashed since day one, ever since you're born, they start whispering, Allahu Akbar in your ears, and then you grow up seeing They literally, there's a insane way of just brainwashing kids. This whole process that starts from the day you're born. It's really, really insane how people are being programmed just to accept this.
Well, that's how it is made. If you go to the story of Safiya, okay, you will find, if you go research now, you will find many stories telling you how much she loved the Prophet,
Oh
how
yes.
much she was in love with him. And she told them, and actually, I found a story that before the attack of Muslims happened, she had a dream that the king, yes, you have to laugh. She had a dream that the king of Al Medina actually took her to lights, and her husband slapped her on the face and told her, "Don't say that. You are my wife." So she dreamed. She had a vision. She had a vision that she would become the wife of the prophet. So, and she never believed in Judaism. And she was very thankful for the Muslims who killed her families, so they gave her the chance to be the wife of the prophet. And she loved him like, loved him to death till she died. That's written there. I didn't put everything here. I didn't want to distract the subject just in case someone comes in and asks questions. But that's how it is. If you read about it, I spent few hours actually, reading those. I was shocked. Come on, guys. What sort of brainwashing is this? Who would believe that? And they believe it. They tell you, no, God made her happy. That's it. And that's what the Prophet said. أسلمت وقد حسن إسلامها. So she converted to Islam, and her Islam or her conversion was the best. So that's what he said to justify that he had sex, and he had sex with her in the same night. He didn't wait till she gets her period. And that's what's supposed to happen, because if you go back to the first verse, so here, see here, I will show you. If we go back, إذا استبرأتموهن. What is that? So you cannot have sex with her unless you make sure they are not pregnant. This is what the istibra. So the permission was okay to have sex with those married women if you capture them in war, but you still had to wait till they get their period. But that did not apply on Muhammad with Safiya bint Huyay, because when he saw her, he couldn't wait.
He was on a hurry.
He couldn't wait. She was stunning. According to the story, that she was a stunning woman, and she was young. She was only 16 years old. So he broke one of his own laws, which is, it would not be allowed for anyone to have sex with a woman before making sure that she's not pregnant. So, don't mix up the ancestries and stuff like that. So he had sex with her in the same night, and he stopped the whole army. People were coming back home. He stopped them. He said, "No, stop here." So he stopped them and made the party, and he had sex with her in the same night.
And actually, if
When
you
you
can
find,
tell us about you know the story about Khalid ibn al-Walid and the guy
that's a
was
better
Ibn
one.
Nuwayra when he wanted
That's a
to take
better
his
one.
wife. Yeah, he
That's a better one.
yeah.
Khalid ibn al-Walid has named the sword
Sword of
of the
God.
God. Yes, the sword of God, whom God,
Maslul.
how to say, al-Maslul, he took it from his, from the, or the, use it against the disbelievers. He went to that guy, Malik ibn Nuwayra, because Malik refused to pay tax after Muhammad died. He was sent by Abu Bakr. So when he arrived there, he told them, well, our prophet said that you had to pay tax. He said, well, your guy told you that, but I'm not supposed to do it. He said, okay, so you think that he was our guy, but not yours. Cut his head. When they brought him to behead him, he looked at his wife and told her, you killed me. Imagine, Malik ibn Nuwayra looked at his wife and told her, you killed me. So he beheaded him and used his head as a
Cooked him and ate
support.
him.
No, he didn't boil his head. No, he used it as a stone with other 2 stones and put pan or a casserole, big casserole on it, and lit fire and cook food on his head. That's what he did. He didn't cook the head. No, some story says that, but he didn't actually. And he had fun. And he took his wife and had sex with her in the same night.
Yeah.
Again, without waiting till she gets her period. Now, when he came back, Omar told Abu Bakr to dismiss him from the leadership of the army. Abu Bakr said, no, we need him. He said, but he said he killed a Muslim. Malik ibn Nuwayra was Muslim. He killed a Muslim and he practiced adultery with his wife. He said, قتلت مسلما ونزوت على امرأته. So he told them, you killed a Muslim and you practiced adultery or rape, you know, his wife. That's what Khalid ibn al-Walid did. And Abu Bakr allowed it because he needed him to lead the army and fight and get the money. So he did nearly what the Prophet did.
Yeah, Khalid, one of the stars of the early days of Islam. He's like still one of the most embraced characters in Islam.
There is a streets and schools in his name, no?
In every city.
Only.
In every city.
Every city.
In every city, in every country.
Look, Bibi, you brought an important subject. I would say thousands of mosques, streets, schools, and back home when we studied history, it was a symbol that Khalid ibn al-Walid, the sword of God, which God drew it against the disbelievers. So until now, would you dare to say that he was blah blah blah? They would kill you.
Yeah, if you criticize him, that's it.
Yeah, you can't criticize him. No way. You cannot criticize Muawiyah ibn Abu Sufyan, they will kill you. So imagine if you criticize Khalid ibn al-Walid. Yeah, all right, guys. So anything you like to add? It's an interesting subject, isn't it?
We could, yeah, I mean, it was very, very interesting to talk about it. And I mean, we know, and we see all these reactions of the people like.
It's a very, yeah, sorry.
This Safiya topic is different than Bani Qurayza thing, right?
No, Bani Qurayza, we will look, maybe it could be our next subject. Actually, I love it because the question will be, has Islam in general, because it's not written in Quran, to be honest. That's also hadith. Has Islam allowed Muslim to kill children? That's a question. Or
Well,
has
no,
the Prophet Muhammad killed children Jews or the Jews' children? Yes. I'm thinking strongly to have it as our next subject.
Yeah, actually, that would be. There's a lot of stories about what they did in the Jews of Bani
Bani
Qurayza,
Qurayza.
so
Yeah.
that would really explain a lot of modern days problems.
Because that's you can't not link it, you know. Actually, all those wars were against Jews. You know, you have Khaybar, you have Bani al-Mustalaq, you have the conquer of Khaybar, the conquer of Bani al-Mustalaq, and the conquer of Bani Qurayza. But Bani Qurayza is the most dramatic and the most shocking, to be honest. Yeah, if we talk about it, would be interesting actually, especially there is a support of it in Quran because Quran says talk about it indirectly when describing the Jew as donkeys.
yeah,
مثل الحمار يحمل أسفارا. Yeah, so it says that the Jew dealing with the Torah are just like donkeys carrying books. So they were saying that they were stupid. And as you know that in Arabic language, when you say someone is donkey, means stupid. So, but killing the children of Bani Qurayza, slaughtering them, and we will bring the evidence. You know, we don't want to talk about stuff without evidence here. So we'll bring the evidence from the Islamic books, from the Islamic history itself. We won't
We will,
bring anything without evidence.
of course, it's the Hadith and the Quran, and yeah, if you see most of these invasions that they took against the Jewish communities in the Medina, for example, just 2 years after the Hijrah, on the second year of Hijrah, when he was already going invading. If you remember, if you know them, Banu Qayqana, I think their name, or Qaynuqa, I think.
Bani Qaynuqa, yeah, those were
Qaynuqa,
one of
yeah.
the Jews, you know, but Bani
They lived in
Qurayza
Medina, and
is,
they
yeah,
ended up
yeah,
also being slaughtered and killed, and this.
the most dramatic still, I guess, Bani Qurayza, and, you know, slaughtering their children, the way it was done. We will not talk about it now. It's a
Yeah.
complex subject, actually. Yeah. But this brings the whole idea about conquering and capturing slaves and stuff. So, any other
and the
subject, guys?
and, Sam, and the question, the question of this Bani Qurayza thing, the children that they didn't kill, you know, the children that they didn't have puberty hair, what did they do with them?
Okay, look, don't spoil the
The second, the
don't
next
spoil the
episode.
next session.
Yeah.
Yes.
They
So
killed what they
that's
killed.
actually, yeah. No, look, don't spoil it, BB. Don't spoil it.
Okay.
So we will talk about it in on time. Yeah, we have this subject. We better concentrate on one subject every time, especially
All right.
that. Yeah, we need to have the evidence. We don't want to just talk about stuff like that. Yeah.
Just
Okay,
wondering.
guys. So anything else you like to comment before we close up?
I would just like to remind our viewers to like
No.
and share and subscribe to our channel so they could participate or try to participate in our next live streams, so we could just we can answer their questions, we can discuss with people who have other opinions, we are open to talk and discuss this stuff. That's where we are here, and that's
I guess,
was our plan.
yeah, I guess, Adam, you're coming to the next session for the North Americas.
Yeah, I'll try to be there. It would be a better timing than the early morning today. So
Would
yes.
be, yes, that's, I guess, would be after nearly 9 hours, will be, I
Oh,
guess,
that's
that's
good.
the 2 p.m. in New York time as advertised, and 11 a.m. Vancouver and Seattle. Mm, Also,
Mm.
in, I guess, Los Angeles and San Francisco. I would like you to come. I know Bibi is busy. So, and I hope someone from United States will also join from our group. We'll be
All right.
repeating the same subject practically.
And
Okay.
I want to add one point. And we are trying not to
Yeah,
offend. We are just trying to explain the thing.
of course. We are trying our best not to be judgmental and not to, that's a fact. That's a shocking fact which we lived all our lives with, and we've been ashamed of. And
Totally.
it's ashamed or on all our nations and our people how people were thinking this way or they believed in this. It's really very, very upsetting subject. Yeah, of course we try not to be judgmental, but that's a fact. You can't change it.
I
That's
mean,
how it is.
w- in order to like make a change, you have to realize the problem, and that's what we're trying to point out. Especially since we escaped our original societies and our
Yeah,
birthplaces, we had to escape it due to all these conflicts that had. So that's what
yeah,
we are trying to do. We're trying to explain for Westerners this culture and all this violence that comes with the religion. Especially we live in Western countries and we see, oh, if you criticize something, they're being pushed and called, oh, you're racist, or you're this and you're that. So we had to take that action in our own hand and explain it to people so they don't
yeah.
uh, feel afraid to
Unfortunately,
criticize
yeah,
and to
yeah.
protect these societies that we moved to, because we want a good better future for our children. We don't want them to grow up in societies that carries the same ideologies, or yeah, that's
Exactly.
mostly why we're doing this.
Yes.
So
Unfortunately, there are too many channels in Arabic, and fortunately, too many Arabic speaking people now are uh, uh, leaving Islam, mainly to atheism, mainly, very rarely to Christianity or other religions. But there are none nearly in English. I think we are the first people to bring it this way. So you could find lots of videos online, but there is no one uh, is actually putting it this way. So we hope that we get more people to get involved. However, I guess we need to end it. So last question, anything, Adam or BB, anything
no,
before we
no, that
end?
was it. We're gonna be back again in 9 hours for the next stream. So
Yeah.
guys, you
Okay.
can.
All right. So the question has the Quran allowed the Muslims to use captured civilian women as sex slave? The answer is yes. And here is the evidence. Come back, please, everyone. If you like, watch the video, take your time, uh, and uh, and we are happy to answer questions if you join us next time. All right, guys. So look, I'm gonna end the stream. So, but please stay online. Okay, I'm ending
Mhm.
now. Thank you, everyone.
Stay safe.